And this
And a
segment
sponsor.
is the sponsor. I'm sorry, this segment is sponsored by Seal One. This is, of course, everybody's favorite, Stump My Nephew. Sam the Gunman sitting next to me rather than on the phone. We found out years ago is extremely good at gun trivia, and as you've probably heard in some of the interviews that we've done today, you can see why. He really knows his stuff. And Seal One is, of course, the best cleaner out there for your gun, so naturally we want Seal One to sponsor the best segment on the show. So check out Seal One. Go down to your local store. If they don't have it, ask them why. But get Seal One and try it out for your guns. Okay, so Sam, are you ready?
Hope so.
All right. Alicia, you're going to...
I've got the question. Now, although Sam's here in studio, he has not seen the question. We purposely left it out of all of our printed material, so he doesn't know what it is.
is that why it's...
That's why it's blank. Yep.
That's
I've
smart,
got it,
Rich.
Smart.
Yeah.
All right, you ready, Sam?
Sure, let's have it.
All right, so Sebastian from Santa Barbara is given the question, and Sebastian asks, the semi-automatic rifle manufactured by a German company was revolutionary in World War I for its selective fire capability and high capacity, but was overshadowed by bolt-action rifles. Can you name it? Sometimes considered one of the earliest modern assault rifles.
Sebastian from beautiful Santa... What?
Barbara.
Santa Barbara. I'm assuming it's beautiful.
It is.
Semi-automatic rifle manufactured by a German company. Okay, so I know the French one. I know the Mexican one. German.
Read it again.
The Schnauzer.
This semi-automatic rifle manufactured by a German company was revolutionary in World War I for its selective fire capability and high capacity, but was overshadowed by bolt-action rifles.
Selective fire capability. Okay, so...
And what was the rest of it? Sometimes
Considered one of the earliest modern assault rifles.
Yeah, this is tough. So the French had one, the RSC 1917. That was not selective fire, though, and, of course, French. Manuel Mondragon, and I'm sure I mispronounced that. I took a useless language instead of Spanish, so sorry. That was manufactured by a Swiss company, his rifle, because they didn't have the facilities to do it in country at the time. And then the Russians had the Fyodorov, can't pronounce it. Fyodorov, that was actually in 6.5 Japanese, and I believe that one was selective fire, but it wasn't manufactured by a German company. So, manufactured by a German company.
You gave him a headache.
Oh, man.
See?
wait.
Sebastian might have me with this one.
Uh-oh.
I think he's got me.
You gotta stick something out there.
Well,
Tell them what you know, even if you're not sure if that's what it is.
Yeah, because usually you'll guess and get it right.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
You just can't think of a...
What was the first assault rifle?
Well, the one everyone says is the Sturmgewehr 44, and that whole family, but that didn't come around until the Second World War. And there's a strong argument for the Fyodorov Avtomat, which came around in 1916, but that wasn't manufactured by a German company, at least to my knowledge.
You ready?
Yeah, he's got me.
No, you don't know it, but you've got it.
What?
It was designed by a Russian designer, Vladimir Fedorov. However, it was apparently manufactured by a German company, but designed by the Russian, according to our answer that we had.
No way.
So,
see, I told you. You
So
can
we
tap
have-
dance with the best of them,
I know.
brother.
So read the full answer.
So Fedorov Avtomat, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, was developed by Russian designer Vladimir Fedorov and introduced in 1916. Sam had it almost verbatim. The Fedorov Avtomat is considered one of the world's first practical automatic rifles featuring select fire capability. It was chambered for the 6.5 Arisaka cartridge and could be fired in both semi-automatic and full automatic modes. The Avtomat was overshadowed by bolt-action rifles because it was produced in limited numbers. Military leaders preferred simpler weapons. It was harder to maintain and needed special ammo in short supply. And priorities shifted toward upgrading existing weapons instead of trying new designs.
Yeah, if you just keep him talking long enough, he'll get... There you go. So you got it.
Sure.
I don't think he believes it.
I didn't know that it had been manufactured by any German company. I thought it was completely domestic to the Russian Empire.
Well, that part you didn't get right, but the rest you got right.
It's a really interesting rifle if you look at it.
Why? Tell us more about it.
So you get, on paper, it's got all the modern features you would want. You get a 25-round detachable box magazine. You get selective fire capability. You get a lower powered cartridge, not quite intermediate by modern standards, but 6.5 Japanese was significantly.
Compare 6.5 Japanese to what?
I don't
5.56, 308.
No, a lot bigger than 5.56, but a little bit lower recoil, lower bolt thrust than a 308.
Okay.
And it was substantially less, substantially lighter recoiling than 7.62 by 54R, which at the time was standard. Fedorov himself, and sorry, I'm just reverting to the American pronunciation. I can't deal with this. He had drawn up plans for an even lower powered, like true intermediate 6.5 millimeter round, but opted to design the rifle instead in 6.5 Japanese because in the wake of the Russo-Japanese War of 1905, the Russian Empire found itself with some stockpiles of that ammunition. So he figured, you know what, we'll just burn through this stuff instead of having to design a new round and put it into production and all that stuff.
So why do you think that? So why would they not? Why wasn't this rifle more successful? Why did the semi-auto or the bolt action, not semi-auto, the bolt action overtake this one?
Well, the Fedorov used completely different parts from the Mosin Nagant. It was a flapper locking selective fire gas operated rifle, so it could not interchange ammunition, could not interchange parts. And so whenever you're rolling out a new weapon system, you need that logistics system in place to provide parts, training for armorers to be able to repair it, magazines, all that stuff in the field. And so it was issued to some shock troops in small numbers, but the additional capability it provided was not deemed to be worth all the additional complexity and logistical strain of having to tool up for that, instead of just send out more guys, more infantry regulars with Mosins.
It's interesting that, fully automatic machine guns are just not as valuable in war as people think they are.
Well, the heavy emplaced machine guns were very valuable in World War I.
But I guess every single person having a fully automatic firearm, not as valuable as I thought it was when I was 8 years old.
Well, what I would say the issue is a lot of the time is whatever fancy whiz-bang new contraption the engineers come up with, no matter how good it is, no matter how reliable, how accurate, how effective it may be, you need the logistics system to back it up. If you don't have that, it just doesn't matter.
There you go.
The rifle, the OK rifle that you can produce is worlds better for a military than the amazing revolutionary rifle that you just can't.
What are your thoughts on the M60?
Fragile. Very cool. Looks great in action movies.
Yeah.
Very fragile.
What's fragile about them?
They had a lot of parts breakage issues. They really cut a lot of the internals down to within an inch of their lives for the sake of lightweight. Mm-hmm. So even though it's mechanically really interesting, it's like the MG42's feed system slapped on top of an FG42, but they suffered from a lot of parts breakage issues in the field. So even though
it's a cool gun.
Oh yeah, it's very cool. But even though the 240 is heavier, it's more durable.
What did you use it for?
We did it during maneuvers. I was the enemy, and my company was, I was so into it. It was like, you think you wouldn't get into stuff like that, but when you're ambushing your own people, you don't have to, get. Then I jumped over a fence, and it was 48 feet down.
Tease.
But the gun made it. Didn't break. I got poison oak like you would never see in your whole life. That's another story.
Well, there you go. Well, cool. Well, Sam, awesome having you in the studio.
Hey, thanks for having me in here. I
the 2 hours wasn't too
scenery.
painful. 2 hours wasn't too painful.
Oh no, I loved it.
I still got to talk you into coming back for the Gun Rights Policy Conference and then staying for Gun Pro.
Hey, all you got to do is write him a check.
There you go. I got a check. Does
That
it have to
works
clear?
out.
I got to look at. I've got some things in flux right now. If my schedule can support it, I'd love to be here for
He's
it.
coming.
He's coming.
What could possibly be more important?
He could put tape on you.
All right. Well, there we go. That was a good show. Thank you,
so.
Sam.
We always do.
Awesome job. Thank you, Alicia.
Really quick,
Yes.
just a little bit of a correction. I just did a little quick research, very thorough that I could do in like 30 seconds. It's Russian. It's not German.
So the guy asking the question got it wrong?
Yes.
Really?
According to my really quick, very thorough 30-second Google search, yes.
Well,
See, Google.
there I don't think that's sufficient. I'll have to look into it more.
Look into
Let
it more.
Sam
I
get
will,
it. Well,
too.
there
One
could
of
be
these
a-
things- you know
a
what we should do?
distant
I don't
German-
want to call the question asker wrong.
We should probably research these before we go.
What
Yeah,
a
gosh,
concept.
Mike.
It's not as much.
1 minute.
All right, let's do it. Let's roll. Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. If you're watching mainstream media, you're not getting the truth about guns. Gun Owners Radio is the easiest way to stay on top of the Second Amendment fight, the fight for your self-defense rights. You can watch our live stream on YouTube every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, or if you're in San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1, The Answer. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Gun Owners Radio and you'll find our show. Like and subscribe to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.